What if the person you refused to help was the same person who once saved your life? This is a real story from Chicago, Illinois. And if you stay until the end, you might never look at strangers the same way again. Alaric Vance was 42 years old, a self-made businessman who owned a fast-growing logistics company in downtown Chicago. He was sharp, focused, and disciplined, the kind of man who woke up before sunrise, ran miles through empty streets, and believed success belonged only to those who earned it. People respected him. Some even admired him. He had a quiet generosity too, but it came with conditions. In his mind, help was something you gave only to those who deserved it. That was his flaw. Alaric believed struggle was always a choice. One cold evening, he stood outside his office building in a long black coat, watching the city move like a machine around him. Cars rushed by, people hurried past, and Alaric stood still, confident in one belief. Everything he had, he built alone. His life followed a clean pattern. Morning runs, business meetings, late dinners with clients, or alone in silence. He had an assistant who looked up to him, a younger brother who had slowly drifted away, and a past he never spoke about. That evening, as he prepared to leave, his assistant had said something unusual, almost hesitant. "Sir, you ever think not everything is about effort?" Alaric gave a small smile and replied, "Everything is." He believed that. He lived by it. But that same night, as he stepped onto the sidewalk, a man sitting near the curb looked up at him. His clothes were worn, his face tired, his voice soft. "Excuse me, can you spare something? I haven't eaten." Alaric didn't slow down. He walked past like the voice didn't exist. That was the first moment, the warning sign he ignored. The next evening, the man was there again. Same spot, same quiet presence. "Please, just a little help." This time, Alaric stopped, not because he cared, but because he was irritated. "You're healthy enough to sit here and ask," he said coldly. "You're healthy enough to work." The man didn't argue. He didn't get angry. He just looked at Alaric, longer than expected, as if searching his face for something lost. Then he said, almost gently, "You don't remember me, do you?" Alaric frowned. "No." The man nodded slowly, as if he had expected that answer all along. "Yeah, I didn't think you would. Something about that moment felt strange, off, like a memory trying to surface but failing." Alaric had a choice, to walk away like always, or to stay. This time, he stayed, not out of kindness, but curiosity. "Should I?" Alaric asked, his tone sharper now. The man gave a faint, tired smile. "No, not yet." That answer didn't make sense. It lingered in the air. Alaric reached into his wallet, pulled out a few bills, then paused. It wasn't about the money. It was the feeling. Something in his chest resisted, like he was being seen, not as a stranger, but as someone known. Slowly, he lowered his hand. "No," he said, "I don't reward this." The man nodded again, still calm, still without anger. "Okay," he replied softly, "but you might want to remember." That sentence stayed with Alaric longer than it should have. That night, he couldn't sleep. Not because he felt guilty, but because something felt unfinished, incomplete. His mind kept replaying the man's eyes. That steady, knowing look. And then, for a few days, the man disappeared. And strangely, Alaric noticed. He even caught himself slowing down at that corner, glancing around without admitting why. A week later, everything shifted. Alaric sat in his office, reviewing old company files, preparing for an audit. Papers were stacked high, records from years back scattered across his desk. It was routine work, mechanical, until his eyes landed on something unexpected, a hospital record. Not business, personal. 15 years old. His name was on it. Alaric froze. It was from a night he barely remembered, or maybe had chosen to forget. A car accident. Rain fallen hard against a dark highway. He had been younger then, reckless, angry, drunk. The report read, "Driver found unconscious. Removed from vehicle before fire spread." His hands began to tremble. He kept reading. No official rescuer identified. Then a small handwritten note at the bottom caught his attention. Civilian mail assisted, left before authorities arrived. And beneath it, a name, the same name, the man from the street. Alaric leaned back in his chair, his breath uneven. The room felt smaller, the walls closer. That man, the one he ignored, the one he dismissed, was there that night. That man pulled him out of a burning car. That man saved his life. The realization didn't come loudly. It came slowly, heavily, like a weight settling on his chest. Memories began to flicker. Flashes of rain, shattered glass, a distant voice shouting, strong hands dragging him away. Moments he had buried without realizing it. The next evening, Alaric went back. Same street, same corner. And there he was, sitting quietly like nothing had changed, but everything had. Alaric approached him, slower this time, his voice different. "Why didn't you tell me?" The man looked up, his expression calm. "I tried," he said. Alaric felt something inside him break. "You saved my life," he said, almost in disbelief. The man nodded. "Yeah." Alaric's voice tightened. "Then why are you here? Why didn't you do something with that?" The man smiled faintly, not offended, not bitter. "I did," he said. "Soft piano returns, hospital bills. Your first night. I stayed until they said you'd live." Alaric couldn't speak. His throat closed. "And after that," he finally asked. The man looked away for a moment. "Life happened," he said quietly. Then after a pause, "Not everyone gets a second chance, the way you did. That was the truth. Simple. Heavy. Unavoidable. Alaric didn't build everything alone. Someone carried him when he couldn't even stand. Someone he didn't remember. Someone he chose to ignore. The next day, Alaric made a decision. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet, real. He walked back to that same corner and sat down beside the man, not above him, not as someone better, but beside him as an equal. "What do you need?" he asked. The man shrugged lightly. "A little stability." That word hit harder than anything else. Stability. Not money, not pity, something real. Alaric didn't throw cash at him. He didn't try to fix everything overnight. He listened. He understood. Slowly, he helped him find a place to stay, connected him with work, gave him something more valuable than charity, respect. He even introduced him to small, steady opportunities. helping him rebuild confidence step by step. And in the process, something inside Alaric shifted. He stopped measuring people by where they stood and started seeing how far they had traveled. He began noticing others too, the overlooked, the unheard, and for the first time, he didn't look away. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone who struggles is lazy. Not everyone who succeeds did it alone. And sometimes, the people you pass every single day are carrying stories that would humble you instantly if you knew them. Pride can blind you. Success can isolate you. And if you're not careful, you can forget the very moments that made your life possible. Now, here's the motivational truth. You don't need a shocking moment to become a better human being. You don't have to lose everything to understand what really matters. Kindness isn't weakness. It's awareness. It's the ability to recognize that life can turn in a single moment. And if someone once lifted you, even silently, even without recognition, then maybe it's your turn now. Because real strength isn't just rising. It's remembering who helped you stand in the first place. And sometimes, the smallest act of compassion can rewrite someone's entire future, just like it once rewrote yours. So the next time someone asks you for help, will you see a stranger or someone your past might already owe?